providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hi, everybody. I've got to turn my clock on. I've got to turn my clock on so I know exactly how long that we can talk. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is in your neck of the woods. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing, and thank you for being here. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing is a show that is brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with our friends at Cardon and Associates. We're here every week, and we're love that you're here. We talk about all things caregiving and more. So I'm Terry Stacy. Thanks for joining us. Tina McIntosh, who normally is here. Tina is on sabbatical, so she'll be back, but not till August. But guess who is here? That's Noah.
Hello.
Noah Taylor is here, who produces the show and also is a co-host. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be a co-host today. We missed Tina.
Oh, sure we do.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we do.
Sure we do. Yeah,
we miss her, but I'm glad that you're here and going to be a part of the show today. You book our shows for us. You really do everything behind the scenes and put these shows together. So thank you a lot. And so we just got done with a holiday. We're still kind of in a holiday weekend, and hope everybody had a great Independence Day celebration. Did you do anything fun? Or do you have a tradition or?
Yeah, usually we have some people over to my mom's house and make some food. Sometimes you can see some of the fireworks from her backyard, so we really like to enjoy that space and not have to be near the crowds.
Yeah.
But what about you? Do you have any fun?
Yeah, same kind of
traditions?
thing. The traditions, it's really cool, Noah. And when we moved into a neighborhood, we're in Greenfield. And when we moved into this neighborhood 20 some years ago, right away, we learned on the 4th of July, they have a neighborhood parade. And it's just the most all-American. And then afterwards, after the parade, everybody gathers for hot dogs and they cook out. And it's just a fun neighborhood thing that has happened for as long as I've been there. And it starts out with, there's always an ambulance or a fire truck and a police officer that will lead the parade and end the parade in our little neighborhood. From the Cumberland area. And it really is just a very special thing. Everybody the kids dress up their bikes, and red, white, and blue everywhere. And anybody can be a part of it. And it's just fun. The dogs and animals are all in it. And it's the neighborhood. And then there are those of us that I like watching it. So then there's those of us that sit with our lawn chairs.
You didn't have your bike
and
dressed
wave
up?
Your flag but it's fun. And golf carts, everything's a part of it. So that's kind of a tradition for us to start
so
the
much
holiday.
Fun. Yeah, what a great way to.
Neighborhoods should do it. If you don't already, you should start one of these.
Start your own July 4th.
Yeah, start your own neighborhood July 4th because there's nothing more all-American, traditional, and it's super fun. So I hope that inspires you a little bit. I think it's cool. I think it's super cool. But here we are. It is July.
It is July. It's the beginning of July now. This year has flown by.
And July is
Sarcoma Awareness Month.
And I don't know what that is. I asked you earlier off air, I said, is that skin? And you said, no, not skin.
No, not technically. So sarcoma is a rare form of cancer, and it makes up just 1% of adult cancer diagnosis. So this is a very, very rare type of cancer. And because it's so rare, many families feel like sometimes that they're navigating this alone. So sarcomas actually include over 70 different subtypes of a cancer and often require specialized treatment. That sometimes isn't available locally.
When you have a rare disease, it's often hard to find funding for research. You want every dollar to go into the particular diagnosis that you were given, and I understand that. Boy, do I understand that. And I hope that funding will continue for so many different diseases, particularly these rare diseases. If you have a child that has been diagnosed with something that is very, you're one in 5,000 or 10,000, that the funding doesn't specifically, a lot of funding doesn't go there.
Yeah.
So that's why so much fundraising and just from good people, GoFundMe's or things that can help in the research of all of this. But yeah, it's tragic.
Yes, that's why I think spreading awareness
diagnosed.
So much
Yeah.
it matters so much as well.
Yep.
And along with that, because there isn't so much funding, maybe there's not so many people who have that diagnosis as well to be able to relate to, or to join a caregiver group, being able to just talk with the people who have been through those circumstances before. It's a little bit harder to find.
Yep. Okay. So you're saying that rare diseases caregivers report providing 36.7 hours of care per week compared to 24.7 for general caregiving.
That's a whole nother week of work on top of your week of work.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother 12 hours more than just what you generally think of as caregiving.
Well, we're here to help you.
Yes.
If there's something we can do for you, please let us know. That's for sure. Caregiver Crossing is here to support caregivers and what you're going through. And I hope that we can provide a little bit of help for you too. Caregivers, sometimes they really become the experts, You have more to offer than sometimes we do.
Yes, absolutely. I know that Tina always says, when you first learn of the diagnosis, you don't have to become an expert right away, but just learning everything that you can to be able to help your person. And caregivers do often become the expert. They spend so much time researching, organizing treatments, even translating medical terms from doctors. You really do have to almost become an expert in this topic to be able to advocate for your loved one.
You know who I really have worked with, the Indiana Wish Foundation, Indiana Wish Kids, for a lot of years. And what I have learned about kids after they've been given a very scary diagnosis, they go at it so many times, more often than not, just head on. They really are smarter and more understanding than sometimes you give a kid credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a kid that I've ever talked to that didn't have a diagnosis that they didn't understand it. They understood it. They understood what they were facing, and the parents become experts. Oftentimes once their child has been given that diagnosis, they just go into it head on and looking for solutions and what's out there and what may be something that the doctor didn't tell me. You're smarter. You're getting smarter as caregivers, and for your patient rights, you're all getting smarter. I know that, but boy, kids certainly have really made an impact on my life when it comes to diagnoses they've been given. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, what a beautiful organization too.
All right, we're gonna have to go, aren't we? We're gonna take a break.
I think so. It's time to take a break.
Let's do.
All right, we will take a break, but we'll stick around. So stay with us. You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org, and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook as well. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, or have a question that you'd like us to answer on air right here, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at 317-254-0828, or email Tina directly at tina@joycehouse.org. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Mochi Health is here to help you start your weight loss journey with caring, personalized support. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who truly listen and understand your unique needs. Eligible patients can access affordable GLP-1 medications delivered right to their door each month. No insurance? No problem. Mochi Health accepts FSA and HSA, making care accessible and affordable. And with 24/7 customer service, you'll never feel alone on your path to better health. Get started with Mochi Health today. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com with promo code AUDIO40.
This new year, why not let Audible expand your life by listening? Explore over 1 million audiobooks, podcasts, and exclusive Audible originals that'll inspire and motivate you. Tap into your well-being with advice and insight from leading professionals and experts on better health, relationships, career, finance, investing, and more. Maybe you want to kick a bad habit or start a good one. If you're interested in learning how to master your emotions and hearing scientifically backed advice for using your emotions as a tool, may I suggest Shift by psychologist and bestseller author Dr. Ethan Kross? Trust me, listening on Audible can help you reach the goals you set for yourself. Start listening today when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
All right, welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. I'm filling in for co-host Nyc Taylor with
Terry Stacy. Hi.
And today we have a very, very special episode for you. So we actually just celebrated the 10th anniversary of the opening of our Joyce House at UIndy.
It's amazing.
It is
Congratulations. I mean, it is a big deal.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
remember
so
when that
much.
place opened and how the search was on to find the right location and how a beautiful place it really is.
Terry, that's very, very nice of you. I actually have some guests here today who can give us a first-hand insight into what UIndy is like. So, Nyc Sigmon is here. He's our care services manager across both locations. If you've ever talked to a family about what it means to trust Joyce House with your loved one, Nyc is probably the one who helped make that feel possible. He's often the first face people see here when they walk through the door, and he's part of the reason our guests settle in and feel safe. Nyc, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
And then we also have my sister, Lia Taylor, who's here with us too.
Woo!
She's the program coordinator at UIndy. Lia doesn't need to say much to make people feel cared for, and she leads that house with a kind of calm that you feel when you walk in. And the way she supports both our guests and staff makes Joyce House feel like home. Thank you both so much for being here today.
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you.
So I think I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it here.
Let's do it.
And either one of you can answer. When you first came to UIndy, tell me what you expected and what surprised you most about the house once you got there.
Leah, you go ahead.
You know, when I first came to the UIndy house, I wasn't sure what to expect. I figured it would have its own vibe, but I was just really blown away and amazed by how much it felt like a natural extension of our Broad Ripple house. It's so familiar. What surprised me was just how intimate and cozy this house is. It can certainly be slower paced and very warm, but it just felt like walking into a friend's house, even if it's your first time there.
I think that's awesome. And, and for those that may be tuning in for the first time, they don't know what Joyce House is. And so, Nyc, explain what you love about that place and also explain a little bit about what Joyce House is for newcomers.
Yeah, so like Leah said, both houses are the same program, but they each have their own little culture. And I think it's most importantly a place where loved ones can feel safe, that their loved one is there. We create such a warm environment with caregivers, with the guests, and they become like a family in essence. And
you feel it right when you walk through the door, either location. You just feel it. These are homes, folks. These are homes that have been turned into adult day service. And there's so much that goes into that and why you've heard us talk before. But if you're new to it, this is really such a gift for caregivers and for those that need adult day help, right? Or I don't know if the word is help, but a place to go where they feel safe. Right,
Absolutely.
Nyc?
Yeah, just somewhere where the loved one feels safe and is able to be, less anxious throughout the day, and their caregiver.
Yeah.
Both are so equally important.
And a loved one can be who?
Anyone, we have adults caring for their parent. We have adults caring for their spouses. We even have parents caring for their child. So really, we have a wide spectrum of, loved ones caring for each other. even friends as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Right. Anybody can be a caregiver, a neighbor, a friend, a loved one. I think it's just important that we're supporting those people. Terry, I'd like to extend this question to you as well. What was the first memory at Joy's house here that made you feel, okay, this place could be different. This place really matters.
I never knew what this place was. This used to be a daycare. I'm older than all of you put together. But this used to be a farmhouse first. And then here I'm talking about the Broad Ripple location. Farmhouse first, and then it was a nursery school or a daycare for kids. And then Tina got involved and found it. And my first time here was Tina wanted to get the word out about what this place was. We'd never heard the words adult day care. We didn't know what that meant. And I work at a radio station, and Tina wanted to get the word out through some advertising and promotion and marketing, but she wanted me also to come here before I would talk about it and tell people what this was. And so she invited me here, came every week for a good 6 weeks period, I guess, and spent a couple hours. And I realized that it was so much. You know, I know the words Joy's house is not because of a person's name, but truly now I know that this is homes. These are homes and places of joy. Mm-hmm. And I saw what a difference those that were here and the volunteers that work here. I saw the difference in the first time somebody would come compared to the second time they would come, the third time they would come, and saw that difference in what you were all doing here. And it was just, I loved it. So you should never ask me a question because I'll go on and on and on.
That was the perfect answer.
That was beautiful.
No, I mean, I just love both locations so very much and love all of you that work here and are a part of it. Okay, no, I'm done. Go ahead. Ask the next
Okay,
question.
fine. I'll go on to the next one.
Please.
Leah, could you walk us through a day in the life at UIndy? What happens and what's your favorite part of the day?
Routine is everything. I mean, it brings comfort and predictability and a sense of safety that's so important for our guests. So while each day follows the same general outline, what I think makes it so special is Joy's house is just able to tailor it to the group we have that day. And that's the beauty of it. We get to really know who's walking through the door and we can build the day around them. So maybe it's rock and roll and jamming for a while, or a specific craft, or a specific reminiscing conversation. There's always something for everyone to really shine. The rhythm is steady, but it's just so deeply personal. All of it is my favorite. I couldn't pick one that I enjoyed the
It's like
most.
asking to pick your favorite kid, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's all just so much fun, and it's just so special to see how each of our guests really comes out, and they're able to show us who they are, and we're so lucky to share those moments with them.
I love that each day is kind of tailored to how you're feeling, how the guests are feeling, and what the guests want to do that day. I think that's really lovely. Nyc, could you tell us a story about a guest or a caregiver who helped you see this work differently? Maybe somebody who really stuck with you.
Yeah, I think of a particular guest. We'll call her Miss C for purposes here. She came to Joy's house, and she happened to be in a wheelchair at the time, and she did not really want to be there. She wasn't happy to be there. It was something she came. She was, recovering from something. But each week, each month, we saw a little bit more light in her and more joy. And, now when she comes, she is so full of energy and laughter, and she dances when she comes in. And
oh my gosh,
I think she is such the perfect story of Joy's house. Coming in, she didn't want to be there, not because of Joy's house, because,
it's
it
a hard
was out of her
adjustment.
routine.
It's scary. Yeah.
But, where she's at now, she's laughing when she comes in, and she's just so happy to be there. So
I love that story. And I know that's just one. I mean, that's a
right.
memory, but there are many more that you make. How long have you been here, Nyc?
I've been here 2.5 years total at
And
Joy's house.
oh my gosh, let me look at our time. Oh, what do we have? Just a
few seconds.
Yeah, just
here.
a few seconds. Okay, we won't. I'll save it. You guys
Save
can
it
stick
for next
around,
segment.
right?
All right. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
Leah, you're
around,
sticking
please.
around too?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. All right, so we will take a little quick break, but we will be right back after this. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. This is a show about all things caregiving, and we are just elated to have you here. We're so happy that you're listening. I'm Nyc Taylor, and with me today is our co-host.
It's Terry. I'm here with you still.
And also with us today are the two wonderful guests that we had in the segment before. We have Nyc Sigmon, who's our care services manager at Joyce House here, and then also my sister, Lia Taylor, who's the program coordinator at Joyce House at UIndy.
How do you guys do together as siblings working together? Are you really working together on a daily basis?
Not so much on a daily basis. Okay. I do get to go to the South Side location sometimes and get to take pictures anytime we have a special day to be there. And that time, getting to hang out with Lia is a lot of fun.
Okay, good.
Leah, you tell me.
Leah hasn't really said
hard
anything.
to not just pick on him while he's working.
Well, Nyc, I want to ask you, when a new caregiver comes through the door for the very first time, what do you look or listen for, and how do you start to build that trust? I think it's a gift that you have. Anybody that's able to do that.
You know, what I think is so important is just listening the first time when they come through the door. You know, there's information we'll gather later. You know, there's an assessment process. But the first time they come through, just listening to them. They have stories to share, and, you know, which is so important when we're caring for the caregiver and the guests. So just listening to them and then asking them questions. You know, how are they doing is one of the first things we always try to ask a caregiver when they come through the door. And just being there for them and listening, I think is the biggest thing you can do that first time they appear.
Are both locations, Leah, I will ask you, do you have availability for more guests to come, Leah?
We certainly do here at the UIndy house. I don't know so much about Broad Ripple, but yes, I'm sure.
What about Broad Ripple?
We
guys?
are always accepting new guests, new families, anybody that we can support and care for here at Joyce House. And we've never turned away anybody who didn't have the financial assistance. We have a very wonderful guest scholarship program for any guests who might not be able to afford the private pay.
The fee.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
We're always accepting new families.
Okay, good.
What is a moment when you had to tell a caregiver something hard, and maybe it even brought you closer instead of pushing them away?
I think that's a really good question, Noah. I think we really try to lead with openness and honesty in all of our conversations, even when they're hard. And our approach is always going to be, we're going to be right here with you through it. And more often than not, the things we're sharing aren't ever surprising to a caregiver. These guests are people who they've known and loved their whole lives, partners, parents, friends, as we touched on earlier. Anybody can be a caregiver. A recent situation that comes to mind is a current guest whose communication is starting to become different, and we're starting to notice that they are experiencing more confusion in the setting and difficulty expressing themselves, which we all know can feel so frustrating. And being able to have these conversations with their caregiver to talk about it, it's never easy to name these changes out loud, and instead of pulling away, the caregiver leaned in. Those conversations can be emotional. There can be pockets of humor, and just sharing that we're always going to walk alongside both guest and caregiver. I'll quote this particular caregiver of saying, just having someone tell her, you're not imagining this and we're right here with you, has just made her feel less alone in caregiving. So these conversations don't create distance, they create trust. And I think that's the goal of what we do, is to be honest and warm and stay connected, especially when it's challenging.
Nyc, do you have anything that you wanted to add to what Lia said?
No, I think Lia said it perfectly. I think one of the hard conversations to have with someone is when we're not maybe the best fit for them anymore, which is, usually it's a hard conversation. And, we want to make sure that they're getting the best services they can. So, those medical needs or other things grow beyond what we can do. That's a difficult conversation to have with a caregiver.
I bet it is.
But, it's usually met with a lot of grace because, as Lia mentioned, they see the things, they know it's coming. And we're always prepared to help them with that transition too.
Yeah.
But those are definitely hard conversations.
It sounds like you've become friends with and a little bit of family for many of these caregivers.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a difficult conversation, but it's met with grace, and we navigate it and help them for what's next.
Wonderful.
And that's one of the other things I love about Joyce House too, is it, even if we do the assessment and we find out that your person might not be the perfect fit for Joyce House, we will always talk through what your options are and what we believe could work best for your loved one.
Resources.
Yes. What resources might be the best fit? Let's talk about how you guys have changed. What's something you have learned, or maybe even unlearned, something you've changed in the way that you've done since starting this work at Joyce House?
Lia?
Oh, geez. I'm a fixer. It's always been my inkling to find a solution, or always know what to do or say, or somehow make every situation okay. And that's definitely something I've had to unlearn in this job, is just being here and doing this work. It teaches you very quickly that it's not about fixing anything. It's about being present in the moment and sitting beside someone, or celebrating these small moments of joy. And that matters more than anything else. It's not about doing anything perfectly. It's about showing up, and just learning to let go of that has absolutely made me more open and more connected to all the individuals we care for.
I really love that. I think that means a lot. And I love what you said. We don't have to fix everything. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we should be there. We should be there for our loved ones. Nyc, what about you? What's something that you've learned or unlearned in your time working at Joyce House?
I think language is a big one. How we talk with our guests, using compassion, and being there with them in every moment, and not using words with our guests that have memory issues like remember, but really the compassion is something, we, we'll field the repeating questions, and we do that with grace. And I think that really kind of bleeds into everyday life as well. We're not going to talk to everybody we see, like we do with our guests necessarily, but that compassion and how we're able to interact with people in the world carries over outside of the walls at Joyce House.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Lia Taylor and Nyc Sigmon, they're both with Joyce House, program coordinator for Lia and also care services manager for Nyc. Thank you all for spending time with us today.
Thank
all
you
the
for
good work
having
that
us.
you do. What blessings
Thank
you are.
you, guys.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing.
A show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much more. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing.
Hi, Noah.
Hi. Thanks for being here. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing is a show brought to you by Joyce House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we're here with you every week to bring you all things caregiving. I'm the producer, Noah, but I am filling in for co-host today, and with me is the lovely...
Well, it's Terry Stacy. Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, you're so
God
welcome.
love ya.
I mean, thank you for letting me open the segment today.
You betcha. What do you want to talk about?
You know, I kind of want to talk about a heavier subject today.
Okay.
Something that is near and dear to my heart and something that I think we should be making our listeners aware of.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, as of now, more than 5.4 million people under 18 in the U.S. are providing care for a family member.
Wow. Now I guess I didn't expect it to be that high. I knew that there's been some, more numbers of younger people that are caregivers, and I didn't know it was that many.
It is a very, very high number, and it continues to rise as well as our society is aging. And many are helping with tasks like medications, meals, emotional support, even translating at doctor's appointments, all while trying to stay on top of their own school.
Let's all think about that for just a minute on what that would be like. Remember yourself as a high school student, although we don't, under the age of 18, so it could be any age.
Middle
but let's
school,
say you're,
high
right,
school.
let's say you're 16, 17 years old. The time when most high school kids are living it up, right? You're going to games, you're dating, you're all the things. And on top of that, now you're also helping as a caregiver for somebody that you love.
Yeah.
It would be a very difficult task.
I mean,
mentally, physically.
Yes, absolutely.
All the things.
Even just for students to stay on top of their own work at school alone can sometimes be hard with all the extracurriculars. And even in earlier in the show, we said caregivers give about an average of 26 hours of care per week.
Wow,
26 hours on top of
just staying in school.
Yes.
And trying to do well in school. I just can't imagine. My heart goes out to you, to those of you that are, I don't know if anybody's under 18 that's listening to us, but maybe you know somebody that's doing that. I would wonder even if they are very vocal about it.
Right. I'm
even
sure
if they're out and out saying something out loud about being a caregiver. I don't know.
Probably don't even identify as a caregiver.
Maybe not.
And I think it can be hard too because youth caregivers average more than 21 hours per week of caregiving, and 70% of these caregivers who are under 18 actually report that it does affect their schoolwork or mental health.
Has to.
Yeah.
They need an outlet as well. If you're an adult caregiver, you're an adult, you're caregiving, you know what that's like on you mentally and physically too. So I just can't imagine how hard and how difficult it is.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what help there is for young people. As Wei said, I don't know that there's an outlet for them. So many adults I know go to find social media caregiver groups on Facebook and other social media platforms to at least just be able to kind of vent and get it out.
And not feel so alone.
And I'm not sure there is anything for... Is there? You're here at Joy's house. Is there anything for a younger caregiver?
I know Brooks Place helps those under 18 who are dealing with grief, but I'm not so sure that there is a formal support group in my mind. If there is, please reach out to us. We'd love to feature you on the show.
Right, that's right. And maybe that's another arm of Joy's house that will come along sometime, reaching that younger caregiver. I don't know how you reach them, to be truthful with you. I don't know how you would reach them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a problem because most people don't even realize this is happening. These kids aren't being paid.
Right.
They often don't call it caregiving, like we said. They don't identify as caregivers, but the responsibilities they have are still very, very real.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever care for someone when you were younger?
Not so directly. My father did have lung cancer.
How old were you?
I was 17 when he was diagnosed. So I was still under 18. But I wasn't, I don't know. I don't know if I identify as a caregiver. I definitely was able to help with some different appointments and maybe getting around and things.
I think that counts.
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right.
But we've had that conversation before. Does that mean this is what you do as a child, as part of a family unit? Is it that's part of growing up and it's your responsibility? Or yes, but it's also identifiable as a caregiver when you're helping with medications and transportation and all that you maybe did.
Yeah, and I think for me, I know definitely it did shape a lot of my younger life, and I think it does shape a lot of young caregivers. They often have to grow up faster.
Yeah.
Some have to develop empathy and maturity very, very early to be able to handle their loved one. But many also face the burnout and anxiety and even missed opportunities that a lot of our other caregivers that we've heard experience.
You know, what would you're way younger than I am. What would you think a young caregiver today would want to hear from somebody that's gone through it? And I think you did.
Yeah, I think the first step is maybe just telling them that they're not alone, that they don't have to wait to ask questions or wait to tell that person that you love them. You know, I really think that a lot of our younger folks, especially with the internet and how focused everything is on that side of things, I think a lot of them do feel alone. And I think the first step is really just making it known that we're there for those people and they do have support, even if it's not maybe such a formal group.
Thank you. We should talk about it more here too and offer services here on Caregiver Crossing that are topic specific for younger adults under 18. 5.4 million people under 18 here in our country are providing care for a family member. They're caregivers, and it's a lot. So we need to recognize. I'm glad you brought this up. Recognize that particular group, and if there's anything we can do to help, we're here for you. We're glad you came today to the show. Stopped by for a minute. Caregiver Crossing is our name. If this is your first time, thank you very much. We have to go, don't we?
We do have to go. It's about that time.
All right, you close it.
All right.
Us out.
As we close the show today, we just want to remind our listeners that you can contact us for more information and resources to help you through the journey of caregiving at 317-254-0828.
Boom.
And a little mention to our wonderful sponsor. Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon & Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience. Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other.
Bye.